Hello and welcome to the first section of BFIT's online bystander training. In this section, we will review Title IX and BFIT's policies prohibiting discrimination. Before we dive into what these policies look like at BFIT, let's first review Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972. This law states, "No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance." This means that Title IX covers all aspects of sex-based discrimination, including sexual harassment and sexual violence. At BFIT, Title IX is included within our Equal Opportunity, Harassment, and Non-Discrimination Policy. While Title IX prohibits sex-based discrimination, BFIT's policy prohibits all forms of discrimination. This applies to all students, faculty, and staff. Discrimination is defined as actions that deprive, limit, or deny other members of the community of educational or employment access, benefits, or opportunities. Discrimination can take many forms. Sometimes discrimination includes exclusion from activities like admission, athletics, or employment. Other times, discrimination takes the form of harassment, which is discrimination based on actual or perceived membership of a particular class, such as race, sex, gender, disability, among other categories. In order to follow federal requirements and keep the BFIT community safe, the Title IX coordinator, along with the Title IX team, oversees implementation of BFIT's Equal Opportunity, Harassment, and Non-Discrimination Policy. At BFIT, the Title IX coordinator is Jackie Cornog, Dean of Students. On the slide, you'll find her contact information. You can also find this information in the resource section within this Canvas course. The Deputy Title IX coordinator at BFIT is Brett Wellman, the Assistant Dean of Student Life. As part of the Title IX team, Brett helps Jackie with implementing BFIT's policies. You can find his contact info on this slide as well as in the resource section. When a member of the BFIT community feels they have been discriminated against, Jackie and Brett, along with other members of the Title IX team, will work to investigate and properly address these allegations. On this slide and the next are definitions of some of the behaviors that violate this policy. Please note, campus policy definitions may vary from the legal definitions. We encourage you to familiarize yourself with these terms. If you would like to do so now, please pause the video. Otherwise, you can review the definition sheet included in the resource section. Here's the second page of terms you should know. If you feel unsafe in any way, please immediately contact BFIT Security located in the lobby of the Union Building or call them at 617-588-1355. Security's number and information can be found in the resource section of this training. Of course, if security is not available or there is an emergency, call 911. Please note that reporting incidences of harassment and discrimination to the college and reporting to the police are separate processes. If you feel you have been discriminated against or know of someone who has violated this policy, the first thing you should do is file a complaint or give verbal notice to the Title IX coordinator, Dean Jackie Cornog, or Deputy Title IX coordinator, Brett Wellman. You can also disclose your concerns to another employee of the college who will immediately bring the situation to the attention of the coordinator. It is important to note that all employees at BFIT, aside from the Director of Student Wellness and Support, are mandated reporters. This means that any information you share with them that might violate the Equal Opportunity, Harassment, and Non-Discrimination Policy must be shared with the Title IX coordinator. However, you can choose to report anonymously so that your name is not associated with the report. Students are always in control of what information they choose to share. In line with that, to encourage reporting, BFIT also maintains a witness amnesty policy. This means that any student reporting violations of the Equal Opportunity, Harassment, and Non-Discrimination Policy will not be subject to sanctions for minor policy violations occurring at the same time as the reported incident, such as underage consumption of alcohol or the use of illicit drugs. This also implies if you are reporting an incident as a third party, meaning you weren't involved in the process, but you saw it happen. We'll talk more about this kind of situation in the intervention skills section of the training. Once a report is made, The college will determine if the incident is in violation of the general equal opportunity harassment and non-discrimination policy, or if it violates the Title IX section of this policy specifically. Although Title IX is part of the Equal Opportunity Harassment and Non-Discrimination Policy, it deals solely with sex and gender-based discrimination, as well as sexual harassment and sexual violence. If the incident does not involve a Title IX violation, this case will be treated as a conduct violation and go through a similar but slightly different process. In both cases, there will likely be an investigation. If the incident is in violation of Title IX, the Title IX coordinator, Dean Jackie Cornog, will request an investigation and implement appropriate and reasonable supportive measures. Supportive measures are non-disciplinary, non-punitive, free, individualized services provided to the involved parties to restore or preserve access to the college's education programs and activities. They also include measures designed to protect the safety of all parties in BFIT's educational environment. If an investigation finds the reported incident to be in violation of Title IX, sanctions will be placed on the student who violated this policy. The sanctions chosen are determined by many factors, including the nature, severity of, and circumstances surrounding the violation, the respondent's disciplinary history, the impact on the involved parties, as well as other factors. Although similar, sanctions differ slightly between students and employees. Some student sanctions that may occur include mandated counseling, probation, non-contact orders, suspension, and expulsion. Both parties have the right to appeal this decision under specific conditions. You can find more details on the college's website, which is linked in the resource section of this Canvas course. As I mentioned before, most BFIT staff and faculty are mandated reporters, meaning that they are required to inform the Title IX coordinator of any incidences involving discrimination and harassment. If a student discloses to a mandated reporter, they are prohibited from keeping the information the student shares confidential. However, there are confidential resources available to students both on campus and in the community. These resources can offer options without any obligation to inform an outside agency or campus official, unless a student has requested the information be shared. On campus, students can seek resources from the Office of Student Wellness and Support. When you discuss incidences of discrimination and harassment with a confidential resource like Emma Michalewski, the Director of Student Wellness and Support, they will maintain confidentiality except in specific circumstances, including your safety, another person's safety, and as required by law. In addition to the Office of Student Wellness and Support, students can seek support from off-campus confidential resources. This includes counselors and social workers, medical providers, rape crisis counselors and hotlines, domestic violence resources, local or state assistance agencies, clergy and chaplains, as well as attorneys. There are many resources available to students should they ever be needed. On this slide, you will find just a few examples of confidential resources in the community, not linked to BFIT, that you can contact. The first one is the Boston Area Rape Crisis Center, also known as BARC. This is a phenomenal resource that operates a phone hotline and web chat to provide free and confidential services to survivors of sexual assault 24/7. BARC also has counselors and other resources that students can be connected to through the hotline or web chat. The next resource is the Crisis Text Line. This resource is helpful when a student is having painful emotions and needs someone to talk to. All one needs to do is text HOME, HOME, to 741-741, and they will be connected to a trained volunteer who will help talk them through their emotions by text. This slide also includes the number to SafeLink, Massachusetts statewide 24/7 toll-free domestic and dating violence hotline. This is a great resource for both survivors of intimate partner violence and their loved ones. Students can also visit a local hospital or emergency room for confidential medical care. There are multiple hospitals available around Boston and the surrounding area, but the closest ones to BFIT are Tufts Medical Center and Boston Medical Center. Although only a few examples are included here, please know there's tons of resources available to folks who experience discrimination and harassment. If you're not sure where to go or who to talk to, please reach out to the Office of Student Wellness and Support, or if you don't want to talk to anyone at BFIT, a quick Google search will turn up multiple results. I know this section of the training contained a lot of information, but my hope is that you realize BFIT is here for you. We want to ensure you feel safe on campus so that you can get the most out of your education here. With that, this concludes the Title IX discrimination and harassment portion of this training. Please head on over to Part 2 on consent.